What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Family or Fiance. We're on season 1, episode 17. So we have Sherry and Micah. Now, this one right here was a whole doozy, okay? Sherry and Micah. They haven't been dating that long. They worked together. That's how they met. And they haven't been dating that long. I think they'd only been dating like 5 months when they got engaged. We're going to get to that in a minute. Micah works part-time in IT, and he wants to be a music producer, and he makes music, and he also creates beats. He wants to be a producer and a rapper. They didn't really get too much into what Sherry did. I can't tell. If they did, I missed it, whatever. But for Sherry, who's coming for her is her brother, her best friend, and her sister. And then with Micah, it's his cousin, his mother, and his best friend. So, they meet with the doctor, and one of the biggest things is he's nervous about meeting her family because her family sort of feels like he's mooching off of her. He's not really carrying his weight. He moved in with her. She, they've had some financial issues because he doesn't work full time, and sometimes they've had some issues with finances and stuff like that. On his side of the family, they don't really know the full extent. He's not really telling them that he's not carrying his weight as much as he should be carrying his weight. So of course they have a certain perception of certain things. We're gonna get into it. This one was a little interesting. So Dr. Sherry, I said Dr. Sherry, Lord. Dr. McMillan, is she a doctor? Tracy. McMillan, Miss Tracy. He has to present his 5-year plan to her family, and she is going to play truth pong with his family. So they get down for the blessing ceremony, and you know how they always say, well, what are your concerns? Well, all 3 of her family members' concerns was money. Him being able to take care of her, him being able to be a provider, and the brother was really concerned. I was interested to find out if maybe their parents are gone and the brother is sort of the parental figure, because they didn't mention the parents, but the brother was very much, I'm taking care of my little sister. I'm going to make sure my little sister's taken care of. I'm going to make sure that you can, you know what I'm saying? So I found that to be very, very, I found that to be very interesting. On the other side, his family was worried. They haven't known each other that long, and they think she's sort of stuck up. They said, we never met her, but based on her social media pictures, she looked like she a little stuck up. And his friend was a little petty, talking about some, I put angry faces underneath all her pictures on social media. How petty of you. First of all, how can you tell somebody stuck up by a picture? First of all, everybody is a superstar on social media. Everybody is the president on social media. So what do you mean she seems stuck up by her pictures? You don't know nothing about that girl. So when Micah is presenting his 5-year plan, they ask about kids. He said, of course, he wants to expand the family. And they were like, well, is she pregnant now? And he was like, no. And they were like, whew. Because, again, they're trying to figure out what the rush is. They're trying to figure out why are they moving so fast. Oh, rewind. I was about to miss a big old part of this situation. When they were going through the blessing ceremony, Micah's best friend said, I'm a little bit concerned about this because the way they even got engaged. Come to find out, Micah had got caught getting involved in some compromising situation with some text messages with a girl. And he was in the doghouse, and the reason why he proposed was his way of getting out the doghouse. She hadn't been speaking to him. We find out that she hadn't spoken to the boy in 2 months. So he shows up with a ring. And that was his way of getting out the doghouse, was proposing. And she accepted the proposal. And we're going to get back to that in a second, because his mama brings up a good point when they having dinner. I was with mama 100%. I don't understand. We'll get there. So when they're having so now let's get back to the 5-year plan. Micah's presenting his 5-year plan to them. And of course they're like, so what's up with these text messages or these emails, bruh? Because she hadn't told her family nothing about it. Her best friend didn't know about it. Her mom, sister, nobody knew. And he was like, well, he never in my mind never really did present a 5-year plan. Like, they got off topic and started talking about some other stuff. So then they got on the money piece, and the brother was like, well, I mean, if you're not after her for her money, then you wouldn't have a problem signing this prenup. And he was like, wow. And then the sister gonna say, well, that's not the he was like, y'all are a trip. Oh, well, that's not the reaction I expected. What reaction did you expect? Like, you came out of left field with a prenup. The girlfriend never brought up a prenup to him. He didn't know nothing about a prenup. He's supposed to be talking to y'all about his 5-year plan, and y'all pull out a prenup, like already written prenup that he just happened to bring with him. Yeah, my reaction probably would have been taken aback by that too. So then he said, so if I sign this, will that end this conversation about me trying to be with your sister for her money? Like, will that end this? Yeah, that would make us feel a lot better. So he signed it. So as far as I'm concerned, at that point, y'all really shouldn't have no other beef. Like, what else do y'all want that man to do? Now, that don't mean that I'm absolving him of his situation, because I have a problem with what Micah is doing. I have a big problem with it. And I 100% understand where her family is coming from. I have no problem with you pursuing your goals. And I understand that getting into music is a very unconventional goal. Like, it's not that easy. You know, when you in, but it's a whole lot of people trying to get in. And I get that and I respect that. But I do have a problem with you not making sure that you bring in enough that the household can live. My thing is, work a full-time job and bust your ass in the evenings and on the weekends to do your music. Like, I have a problem. I just have a problem with that. So I'm with her family on that piece of it. Like, I would have a problem with that whole situation too. So they're playing 20 questions down with Sherry. And what ends up coming out with Sherry is basically, she doesn't think that they're ready to get married, but she felt pressured when he came to her with the ring. She felt pressured to say yes, and so she did. But she's not really ready to get married. She doesn't think that they're ready to get married. And she also found out that Micah was not necessarily being honest with his family about the finance situation, about how much she actually is carrying the load when it comes to their finances. They asked him what bills he paid. He said he paid the cable bill and the water bill. And he had to think about that. My thing is, if somebody asked me what bills you paying, I could probably give you 30. Well, you know. But you're living in a joint situation with somebody, whether it's a roommate, whether it's a fiance, whatever, and somebody says to you, what bills do you pay? And you got to think about it. That tells me that maybe you're not regularly paying that bill. That's how I would take it. That don't mean that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I would take the situation. So she's feeling some kind of way now because she was like, you're not being honest with your family about exactly what's going on with our finances. And he was feeling some kind of way because he was like, did you know about this prenup? And you could tell she knew, but she didn't know how to say she knew. And she got the hemming and hawing. Well, I mean, my brother had expressed some concern. And McMillan was like, so that's a yes, you knew. And he was like, so you just basically let me get blindsided. Like, you let them blindside me with that. Like, you didn't even tell me about it. Like, come on now. So they already sort of feeling some kind of way. So that night when they're having dinner, the whole conversation, I don't know how the conversation starts, but basically the conversation comes up again about text messages, and come to find out, he thought she was flirting with some people, so he was on some get back, so he started flirting with somebody, and then she saw the messages on the tablet, blah, blah, blah. So while they're at dinner, his mother was like, she didn't have to say yes. Like, yeah, okay, he proposed to her to get out the doghouse, and maybe she felt like but at the end of the day, don't put all of it on him. You said yes. And I mean, I don't feel like his mother was wrong with what she said. She's absolutely correct. You could sit here and say you felt pressured and you were worried that the relationship would be over if you said no, but at the end of the day, you said yes. So this ain't all on him. Because you could have said, I'm open to us reestablishing our relationship, but we're not ready to get married. And his friend even asked when they were playing 20 questions, do you think if he was in the doghouse, do you think if he hadn't been in the doghouse, would he have proposed? And she was like, no. So I'm thinking to myself, so then you know that the only reason why he proposed to you was because you weren't speaking to him. Like, and how you have money for a ring, but you can't pay the electric bill? I'm just asking for a friend. How you have money for a bill? I'm just asking for a friend. Child. So, when they talking to the mother when they go for their therapy for the next day, McMillan said, here are your goals for today. She tells Sherry, you need to talk to your best friend and explain to your best friend why you haven't been honest with her about everything going on between you and Micah. Micah, I'm going to hook you up with a music producer. I forget his name, but he's worked with, Trey Songz and some other people. You're going to get an opportunity to play your music for him. And because the whole 5-year plan thing didn't really go too well yesterday, the brother's going to go, and the sister ended up going. But at first, I don't remember her saying the sister was going. But anyway, both of them end up going. So they can hear your music. You can maybe explain to them a little bit, in a different environment. And you'll also get a chance to talk to a Grammy-winning producer who can hear your music, and maybe give you some feedback. Now, and I thought that was great. Like, that was a great opportunity for him. So, but I had a problem with the fact that her goal was to spend time with her best friend. Because in my mind, I'm like, she can have that conversation later. I felt like, because the mom and her had that conflict the night before, I felt like her task should have been to talk to her mom. Now, in hindsight, and maybe that's why she's the doctor and I'm not, in hindsight, that conversation probably was what she needed to get her where she needed to get to. But I'm just saying, for the purposes of this program, I felt like she should have been interacting with the mom. But okay. So they go and they meet up with the producer, and now let me just go and be honest. Micah comes off very nerdy, very, his language is very proper. He enunciates his words, and I'm not saying any of that's a bad thing. But when you think of rapper, like, he didn't give me rapper. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I saw him and I was like, I could see producer. But I didn't see rapper. But when they played his music, I actually they played 2 songs. I liked both of them. And you could see him getting into his music and doing all of that. And the brother and the sister both liked his music. And they even said, I saw a different side of him. Like when you first meet him, you don't see rapper. And even the producer said that. He was like, look, when you showed up, I wasn't seeing rapper, but I hear your music. He was like, your music is good. Like, I like this. He even told him, he said, look, man, you need to come back and do a showcase. What I hope what he bet had done was make sure he got that contact information, and as soon as he got home from this show, he needed to start putting that thing in place. Because it sounds like that guy was really open, not saying he was going to take him under his wing and mentor him, but definitely was open to helping him at least put on a showcase. And sometimes that's all you need. So anyway, but the brother definitely got a different, I think, hearing the music, because see, when you meet him, you just don't see rapper. You know what I'm saying? But hearing the music, I feel like, okay, maybe. So I felt like they sort of bonded a little bit. I mean, the brother even dapped him up and was like, yo, the music is pretty good. Like, I like it, man. So I feel like they sort of had a moment. The other thing that came up, and his friend said this at dinner, was like, they sitting here acting like he don't have a degree and he doesn't. And I'm thinking, but if he ain't using the damn degree, if he working a part-time job, like. But that's when she realized, oh, you're not being honest with them about what's really going on with our finances. So back at the house, while they're down with the music producer, back at the house, she's sitting down having a conversation with her friend. And she explained to her friend what went down with the text messages and all of that good stuff, and how she found out and all of that. And when it was all over said and done, she admitted to her best friend, I don't think we're ready to get married. And I know I need to have a conversation with him and tell him we're not ready to get married. And that I do believe he proposed for all the wrong reasons, So the next day they have their final little meeting with Miss McMillan and everything. Yeah, I gotta remember. I don't know whether she a doctor or a miss. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, and they are on total opposite sides. Like after his session with the brother, he's on cloud nine. He feels like he's made some breakthrough. He probably got the contact information for this Grammy Award winning producer. He's gotten some validation on his dream. Like he's on cloud nine. He's like, yes, it's all coming together. She's on the total opposite end. Like, yeah, I'm about to break up with this bruh. You know what I mean? And it was really weird because she was like, you guys seem like y'all know exactly what y'all need to do. And he's like, yeah. But they're saying yeah for opposite reasons. Like both of them are saying, yeah, we know, but for totally different reasons. So they get down to the blessing ceremony, and before they can get to the blessing, she says, well, I just have something to say. And then she basically says, look, I just feel like we need to put this engagement on hold. And I'm going to give you your ring back until you sort of show me that you're willing to step up and, blah, 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 blah. So, of course, he's devastated because he's blindsided. He don't even see that shit coming. And I'm thinking to myself, Micah, I don't really like how you was really moving with the whole I'm going to work part-time and let her pay the bills type situation. But on the flip side, bro, go do your music because this chick tripping. Like, she seems like somebody that can't stand in her own, and she doesn't like conflict because I feel like she could have had that conversation with you when y'all were upstairs with the doctor so that y'all could have come down as a united front and you wouldn't have been blindsided in front of your family. I really felt like that was kind of messed up on her part. But then in the little prologue, the little follow-up at the end, They did postpone the engagement, but they never broke up. They continued to date. He got a full-time job, and he was going back to school. And then they got re-engaged, but they didn't tell her side of the family. Only his side of the family knows. So once again, you're not dealing with conflict. Because you, rather than tell your family that you've decided, and they've stuck to their original wedding date, which is this July coming up. So instead of telling your family what's going on, once again, rather than have that conflict, you like, I'm just not going to tell them. Y'all let me know what y'all think about Micah and Sherry, child. I can't wait to see the follow-up on these stories, because, honey, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.